Hey, you going out? Well, I mean, you're dressed up all smart and fancy. I'm guessing you've got a date or something? Well, believe it or not, I actually have somewhere to be too, so I guess we can judge whose date goes better by who's back earlier. Well, I mean, we'll see, right? It's not like anyone's in a rush. Mine, well, it was the first date for me, so. You as well? Ah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave in a bit. Although I'm sure. Well, no, actually, I'm gonna go for the old fashionably late thing. By which I mean 5 minutes, right? You gotta do the whole dance when you do this sort of stuff, at least. That's how it feels. What about you? Are you gonna be there bright and early and on time? No. No, I don't believe that. I know you'll be there, like, on the dot all the time. And if you're not, well, I was talking to someone else. Nothing, doesn't matter. A meta joke. Anyway, look, the point is that I hope your date goes well. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you soon, or whatever. So is this someone you already know, or what, dating app date? Give me the gossip, give me the tea. I see, it's a setup with okay. Fair enough. Well. Huh. It's just a coincidence. Never mind, I'll tell you later. Anyway, you were going, so I shouldn't interrupt you. I'm just about to go get spruced up and head out myself pretty soon. Yeah, have a good time. Alright, I'll catch you later. Bye. Okay. I think this is the right table. Hey, Oh. Hey, I didn't know you were meeting your date here. Coincidentally, you're wearing what they said they were wearing. I'm wearing what your date's wearing. Well, this is certainly a surprise. Right. Okay. So I guess this date isn't as blind as I thought it was then. Huh. Well, we're here now. I guess. So may as well just have a good evening, right? Okay, so I'm going to sit down now. I don't know why I said it like that. Amazingly, I wasn't nervous a minute ago, really, and now I am. Yeah, okay, right, well. So, yeah. Are you local? Do you come here often? Yeah, it's a funny thing to adapt the kind of conversations I was about to have to conversations with someone I already know, I was thinking through all my sort of talking, points, whether it be on me or knowledge about various random things, I don't know, trying to be engaging and fun and funny, ideally, and now it's well, a different conversation, right? Look, I'm gonna just say this, that well, I don't really see how this can get more awkward, right? So let's just do this. I've kind of wanted to ask you out for ages anyway, okay? Now, instead of having that whole embarrassing thing, how about we just pretend that I'd asked you out and you'd said yes, and this is our tentative first date, and depending on how things go, we can either say, hey, this is actually quite good, let's date each other more, or, well, it's not really there as a romantic thing, alright? And just give ourselves a first date chance, because why not, you know? Because I do like you, so I feel like I've had worse ideas. Yeah? Cool. Okay, awesome. Well, I can skip a lot of the more obvious questions. I almost feel with you, I can just talk about even, like, what was your mentality going into this blind date? What were you planning to talk about? What were you planning to ask and engage over? You know? Or even, here's an interesting question for you. How were you planning to ask your questions? Because, see, this is somewhere I've come to learn is actually, it's something you can really do to engage with people more, right? So here are my findings. Here's my top dating tips, you know, for our future dates, of course. The first thing, well, I mean, I like to do stuff like that, all the kind of jokingly implying that you'll, you know, be together for a long time sort of thing. But it kind of, if you can even jokingly put a frame in their mind of you and them together long term, I kind of think that's a nice thing, as long as it's not too corny or too forced or too early. But with you, it's like, yeah, I mean, as roommates or as passionate lovers, we'll be around each other a while yet, so at the very least, I think if it's not going to go the passionate lovers way, we should at least be able to have a laugh about it and say, hey, remember that time we were each other's blind date? Wasn't that funny? But now here's a good tip for question asking, right? So instead of me asking you, let's say, oh, where did you go on holiday this year, right? Or something kind of boring like that, where you're sort of being asked to quit, you know, it's like filling in a form, right? It's really dull. It's really uninteractive. My follow-up question is probably like, oh yeah, I've been there, or it's really nice, or oh, I want to go there, or you know, and equally bland, banal conversation, the kind of stuff you would talk about at a business convention with someone you didn't care about, right? So, to avoid that, here's my top tip. Instead of asking, you know, where were you, or what happened at this point, or whatever, try and engage more emotionally. So that would be something like, what was your best and worst ever trip? And so there you start tapping into emotions rather than, you know, rather than a description of a place. Oh, I went to this location. I met this person, you know? Rather than a boring explanation, you're going to get something way more akin to an emotional story, which at the end of the day is, you want to bond with people emotionally, right? And when you're dating them. So you kind of subtly open the door to far more emotional conversations rather than factual conversations. Because when you start talking about your favourite trip, it's like, right, well, you know, it's cherished childhood memories, or it's great friends, or it's, you know, vivid memories and things like that. And that's a person, in a sense, opening up to you. Whereas if it's, you know, I went to Greece, it was Greece, you know. There was a sun. It had sun-like properties of warmth and glowiness. You know, when someone says, where did you go on holiday this year, it's quite boring, unless if you talk about it yourself in a very engaged manner, but when you think about it, when you're asking the questions, you want to invite the engagement, right? You want to frame it in such a way that the engagement is natural. So, yeah. Thus ends my thesis, I guess. And also, the other thing, to be fair, because I didn't just ask what's your favourite holiday memory, I asked what's your favourite and least favourite. Because least favourite also, it lets people sort of open up to you a little bit about some vulnerabilities or some negative experience, which again is very, you only really do that with friends or people you're close with, right? So, you know, it's one of the many dark arts of dating, I guess, is to figure out, okay, how do I make it to where we're engaging with each other, we're talking with each other, and we're kind of going in an emotional, almost vulnerable direction, rather than a very kind of standoffish, I don't know you, you don't know me. We're essentially talking about the weather for 4 hours and then being bored by each other and then never seeing each other again. At least this way, you give people a chance to open up a bit more, you know? Do I have any other tricks? You can afford it, honey. No, I mean, more seriously, yeah, but I'm assuming you mean conversational things. In which case, yeah. But come on, I can't give my entire game plan away. How shall I woo you? How shall I sweep you off your feet in a romantic gesture if I give away all the, you know, secrets? It's a bit like a magician, right? I mean, if a magician comes and says, this is how this card trick works, and then does the card trick, it's significantly less impressive than when you don't know. What you want is the illusion that something impossibly magical has happened in front of you, whereas the reality is it's a conniving, predetermined scheme to fool you. Mwahahahaha. Ha. Ha. Anyway, the point is that I am mostly kidding about the scheme thing. For me, the only schemes, like, there's lots of people who will try and, you know, these pick-up artist types who will prey on people's vulnerabilities or try to make them feel insecure so that they latch onto you, that sort of crap. The reality is I don't want that at all. I want the person, you know, I want a person who I actually like, who actually likes me. And part of that obviously comes from, you know, our joint interests or shared emotions. So my tricks, insofar as they exist, are just so that a person will open up to me a little bit and I can see if something is there or not. Because otherwise, how do I ever know, you know? Anyway, it's all getting a little bit... It's a little too inside baseball. I think we could probably do a better job for ourselves, just talking like normal for a little bit, no? Right? And so Jamie says, but that's not a hedgehog, that's my wife. I can't believe he's never told you that story. And I've never told you that story. It's kind of crazy. Well, I did say I would walk you home, but it is also, you know, my home, so if you like, we could, you know, have some sort of delusion going in, like, you go in and I'll come in 5 minutes later, oh, how was your day? Ah, he was an ass, you know, how was your day? Oh. Okay, that's not in the script necessarily, but I am all for ad-libbing. You know, I'm an actor of profound talent for ad-libbing, so I just I guess the date went pretty well then. Yeah. Well, you could invite me back to your place, you know. Yeah. Okay.